Welcome, Polygon Pie, Joe Paul Putty Man here, and welcome to our today's review of Wandavision episode 4, where things are now getting crazy and all coming together. I am your host, Putty Man. If you can, before we get into this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, okay, guys? It really helps out, a small YouTuber like myself. And make sure you also drop a like on this video too, because again, that's also how I get views, as more activities, things of that nature. Comment below, tell me what you guys liked about the episode as well. And again, tell me if I'm missing something that you want to add in as feedback too in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Okay. Um, so again, the situation here is that based on this episode, I'm putting together several things. One is we may have a little bit of a situation with Monica, because I don't think this has got to be the snap. This has definitely got to be the snap when the Thanos snap happened, where she's in the hospital, and um, for those that aren't familiar, Monica Rambeau's mother was Maria, and they actually mentioned Maria talking about how she's passed away. Um, because was distraught based on her daughter's disappearance. But if you remember Maria, she was in the Captain Marvel movies. So I don't know if it may be a connection into that, um, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Captain Marvel was alive when the snap already occurred, because they already had her going around doing stuff and everything. So um, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I feel like what's happened a lot, and this is what I'm starting to see when it comes to Sword. Sword is becoming more of what Shield was, and will always kind of be that way, because I think they're kind of they're breaking down at big parts of the universes. You know what I mean? So I think what's going to happen is now we're going into the storyline. You know what I mean? Outside of what Shield is, and that'll also get us into other investigations when that can loom into like what the different factions of mutants. You know what I mean? X Force, X Men, Generation X, um, uh, was X Force, X Factor, X Men. Just thinking of all the X Men factions there are. Using all that situation to have those factions like they do in that situation, um, bringing the universe from what was great about the comics into the world to keep things going. So we had Shield, we had Hydra. Hydra's still looming, as you can see in these episodes, especially with the commercials. And see, what's really funny is, I want to say this: they did the whole last time on WandaVision back here. Um, and see, here's my thing with that. It feels like what's the word I'm looking for? It feels like it was shooting for something like in the '90s, or maybe I'm just seeing that because it was just it had nothing to do with any kind of time frame, because you got to think they're outside of her world, so I'm guessing it wouldn't connect to the time frame she's currently in. Because you got to remember, last episode we were going into the '80s, so everything that we're going into has not been the '80s, but it's like there was a reposting of it. So I didn't really think that they were posting for WandaVision or based on the. Okay, after that constant blabbing that I just put on there, uh, next we get into Darcy Lewis. Now you remember Darcy Lewis was actually from Thor. Um, the main reason why I'm thinking that Sword is going to take over is because this is what they're hinting at, and a capital. We already had a situation where Sword was involved when, at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home, we saw Nick Fury was on um, a Sword headquarters, or Sword what do you call it? I can't. Their location in space. I cannot think of the name of it right now. But anyway, so that's the reason why I think now what's happening is Sword is getting involved. Um, but they weren't supposed to. Initially they didn't really care. That's the reason why Monica Rambeau ends up going out there, because it's not something intergalactic, which is going to get more into like Eternals and everything, or more multiverse. They're just still at home. It's kind of like when Peter Parker told Iron Man in the first movie that he'd rather just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's kind of like Monica Rambeau was sent into a situation that was what felt like that. That's what it was, but it's actually something bigger. And so, uh, it's the world bending situation, bending reality. But that what people don't realize is the scope of how much Wanda can do actually. And right now she's doing, she's just showing it, and I think she's breaking down too because with the whole situation of like throwing Monica out of the universe, things of that nature, she's aware that they're coming in and can reality bend those areas at ease. So if she is, this is just like minute, like she's not even trying. Like I gotta see how much there is a weakness because she doesn't seem to have any kind of weakness in that right now, which means that she's just all powerful, and this is just like flipping a coin basically. This isn't making it hard for her. So that makes me wonder how much WandaVision could aesthetically change the scope of the Marvel universe, especially if Doctor Strange knows what's involved. Like, what if MCU was a bend? I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. Um, okay, so for example, let's start from the beginning again. I clearly am sporadic when it comes about this episode. I'm what's making me really excited about this episode and making my review slightly clunky in that manner is that to see everything coming through from like it's a television show, like she's putting herself in that situation is like she's trying to hide something, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. When I put in the whole Hydra thing, because Hydra still has a whole situation in it. Um, it goes back to the Age of Ultron. Remember when they did the whole Ultron thing? Um, Age of Ultron is when actually or prior to Age of Ultron, um, which was in Captain America. Was it It was one of the Captain America movies where basically, I can't remember which one it is at the moment. But anyway, basically, that showed both Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were held by Hydra. Like they were, and we never knew exactly why they were there in the first place. And again, this could all go back to when I confirmed my last, or not confirmed, but kind of theorized in my last episodes about the No More Mutants line actually already been said before, and that's the reason why we didn't have mutants in the first place, and they're going to come back. Um, but my whole situation is that it's going to have to be capitalized and talked about. And I think that's the reason why we're going back to Age of Ultron is to explain what could be the broken realities of Quicksilver. Quicksilver may be the key, like I told you, what I was telling you before. When Evan Peters is actually in the cast and Mephisto has been theorized somewhere else, where does it leave him as character? Which makes me feel like he could be Quicksilver because I'm gonna say this: when it comes to both Quicksilvers, nothing against the guy that played Quicksilver in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know it's the guy that played Kick-Ass, which should even make it cooler. But the guy in the Fox X-Men universe that played Quicksilver was much more of a fan favorite, and to see them thinking of utilizing a way to bringing him in, and by using context clues of Quicksilver, things that nature that trigger her, because they're major triggers for her because how close she was with him. And at the same time, if she's being controlled by Hydra, Hydra could also be doing that to keep control over her as well, because they know how close they would have been, um, keeping him in captivity like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just there's so much that's going on when it comes to the series that I feel like there's like I want to see it as a deeper meaning, connecting something bigger. And I know a lot of you guys might have the same feeling as well. So, I just wanted to go ahead and state that this episode may not have contained as many Easter eggs than more than review or skepticalization or theory. Stop blabbing. That's what I think, guys. I think that she's gonna bring Speed and Wicked out somehow. Hydra's gonna be involved, and this is gonna connect to Doctor Strange's movie, which is then going to be something I feel like is going to go further into a bigger connection where multiverses are going to be involved, but it's also where someone as big as Wanda could even make. Hello and welcome, Pilgrim Pie, Joe Pal Putty Man here. I'm just gonna do this real quick and just cut myself off there upon reading or I should say, listening to my own review of this episode. I felt I was all over the place. Um, I also did a few things where I recorded in between the episodes, and the consistency really broke down of where everything would go, and it just my thought process was out of whack. There's so much that's going on within this episode of WandaVision that I feel like I'm definitely overlooking a lot of stuff when it comes to doing my review, and as well as the more hype of what's building up based on the multitude of universes that are available. That when it goes down to Marvel Comics, you have to go down such a rabbit hole of information that that's what's happening in WandaVision. There's a lot to take in when it comes to the hidden lore and everything and all the secrets. Um, that's the reason why I'm so skeptical about myself and what's going on, even in this episode in general. Um, all I know is S.W.O.R.D, I think, is the new S.H.I.E.L.D, and I think that they are now watching Hydra on Earth, and this could be a move on from Hydra. This could be the last time we have to deal with Hydra. They might move on to something bigger, which could even end up to the mutants. Which I don't even remember if I put that part of that theory in here. Like, I went on a tangent with everything when it came to this review, guys. So my main thing I want to do is just end it here and say, guys, please comment below what you guys thought of this not this just review, but this episode of WandaVision. I want to get this out to you guys, but I want to know because this was just a mind blowing episode, and clearly, based on the thumbnail I'm going to be posting, it's understandable why. Uh, if you saw in the thumbnail, you clearly know she she warped a vision, and that was in her brain into the one that she last saw in reality, and that's where things are starting to break down on one how strong she is and doesn't real and doesn't even realize it herself, and whether or not she's even realizing it in Hydra involved. There's so much plot holes in the situation. Hydra just could be connected to her and her brother in not Age of Ultron, but prior to that, Captain America: Winter Soldier. So anyway, guys, I'm blabbing. Guys, comment below. Tell me what you guys think. And again, as always, I am Puttyman with Gamer Pods. I appreciate you guys' time and this review. Let's get you to the end screen. Peace out. I'll talk to y'all later.